And at a time where police officers definitely don't want to listen to the news, we're here every Wednesday to bring you the news. Today we've got Haiti descending into hell. A lot to talk about there. We got Kanye's blowy in Venice that we can't miss out. We've got a Maui fire update, some missing children that haven't been accounted for, and what lies are being told by our government, or what are we just getting wrong? It's a lot to uncover today, but all of this and lots more on today's Failure to Stop Last Call of the Day.
The growing calls across the nation to defund the police.
To end policing as we know it.
Off the charts violence in New York City. 11 people shot in just 8 hours on
This is
Sunday.
about the police officers who every single day put on that uniform and they run towards danger when we run away from it.
Oh, guns up, giddy up if you're tuning in for the very first time. This is the Last Call episode of the week. Last Call comes out on video every Wednesday, drops audio every Thursday. It's all the other news so that you don't sound like an idiot when you're at the weekend barbecue with all your friends, giving you something else to talk about other than dead babies and domestic violence. Join with me, as always, co-host Deadleg. Today's show is brought to you by ghostbed.com/Wolfpack and officerprivacy.com/Wolfpack. Officerprivacy.com/Wolfpack. A lot of news today. And listen, we did the True Crime Tuesday last night, and I dressed up as a punk rocker for a punk rock murder with Jay Rama on night shift, and everybody absolutely, I guess, loved the punk rock Eric thing going on. Got a lot of messages. Thank you guys for all those private messages. I always love them on the Instagrams and on the Facebooks. Really appreciate those. They got back to me. They do get back to me. Even if I don't respond, I do read most of them, and I try to respond to the ones that I feel like need to be responded to. But I can't respond to all of them, obviously. However, I hear what the Wolfpack wants, and that's more Tansey in character. So for now on Newsy Wednesdays, I will be wearing the old newscast blazers. I've got a whole array of blazers from back when I was a cop, going to court all the time. And so I'll just start busting those out. I'm going to put a coat rack up in here, and I'm just going to have a different one every Wednesday. Diving into the news today, golly, there is, I say it all the time, though, that they make it easy for me to do this show. Matter of fact, Drew Breezy, the easy, the beautiful Drew Breezy from Comm Center and Breakdowns on Fridays, said, man, aren't you a little bit overwhelmed lately since you're having to be on so many shows right now as we're kind of getting things organized and you're always on a show now? Like, is it getting hard? And I said, yeah. And he's like, what can we do to make Last Call easier? Should we find somebody to fill in for you so that you're not studying for the conspiracy show after just coming off of the Uncuffed show on Mondays? And I said, to be honest with you, Last Call's my favorite. So if you're going to find somebody to replace me on any of the other shows that I'm on, which I would love because it's a lot of podcasting all week, I get tired of hearing me. I know you guys might get tired as well. I thought, the one I want to keep doing is Wednesday Last Call, because to me it is the most important show. Knowing is half of the battle. And plus, you need to have something to talk about. You need to be a little bit more well-rounded. People need to be encouraged to love their wives more and to be home with their kids more. And I take that time to do that on this show. I give you the news, and I give you things to do about the news, and I try to encourage folks to not be sold out to just the job, but be sold out to being a good parent, being a good lover, being just a good human being, and being able to go to a barbecue and not sound like a robot cop. So I want to keep doing this show. So what we talked about was maybe we make it a free-for-all Wednesday where I'll just send everybody the notes that I'm already doing, but then Jay Bates, Drew Breezy, anybody, Dexter Pitts if he's around, whatever, any other podcasters, Beth and Greg, if they want to pop in on Wednesdays and just hang out and go through the news with me on Wednesdays so that we have more. It's like The View, but less gay. And by gay, I mean like less happy. It's a less happier version of The View because those women are so happy all the time. That's what I meant by that. I didn't mean, did I offend you, Deadleg?
No, not at all. Not one bit. It'd be fun to have other, and not to say that sitting here with you isn't fun, but having other people, it's another, you get other people, their background, everything that they bring to the table comes to that reaction when we have a news article or when we have something coming up, that to have them be able to react to it too, or give their 2 cents on something. I think it'd be a good idea.
Yeah, we can open it up to all sorts of people. Bones Cold Fleas Austin said he would love to be on the show. Well, damn, let's just do that. Listen, if you want to, if you're interested in making a cameo on a Wednesday to be down there, you hit us up in the DMs on Last Call, the Last Call DMs. Also, we're starting this week nominating people for like first responder of the episode. So if you want to nominate every single episode, so like Uncuffed, if you want to have an officer shout out, a first responder shout out on Uncuffed, go to Failure to Stop Uncuffed on Instagram, send that specific show a DM. If you want it on Last Call, go to Last Call and send it a specific DM. If you want it on Com Center, hit up Drew Breezy in the DMs. And if you want Friday breakdowns, just go on the regular Failure to Stop page and tell us why and who it is. And they will get a shout out on that particular show. Today's show, though, brought to you by ghostbed.com/Wolfpack and Manscaped. We got Manscaped back for the fourth quarter, going into the fourth quarter. And I've said this on the other shows. I'll put it out on this one, guys. Fourth quarter is where all the ads hit because it's coming up on Christmas. So don't give me no shiz about there's too many ad reads. We're going to do 4 probably almost every show from now to Christmas. It's just the way it is. That's where all the money is made in podcasting, is in those fourth quarters. And we got some fourth quarter bangers that are really coming out, like officerprivacy.com/Wolfpack. These guys just decided over the weekend, they were like, yo, listen to the show. You guys are hilarious. We love the Anti-Hero Podcast, guys. How do we join up? How do we become a main sponsor, like a title sponsor like GhostBed? And I was like, I mean, you'll never be a GhostBed because GhostBed was the OG, but you could be second, baby. You could be second tier on this channel with GhostBed. So we're trying that out right now. Head over to officerprivacy.com/Wolfpack. And what they do is scrub your name from the interwebs, and they scrub your like where you go to church and all those things. Don't do it don't do it after you've had a serious incident. Do it now. Do it before there's a serious incident. Once there's a serious incident, they're already going to have your address. They're going to know what gym you go to. Listen, one of my best friends of all time was involved in an officer-involved shooting not too long ago. I had to stay at his house for a week and answer the door and shoot people away and protesters. And we were sleeping. He and I were doing shifts, to stay awake so, we could protect the family, because this was right after George Floyd. So the protests were a real deal. He didn't have officer privacy. And matter of fact, he was forced to move everything. He literally had to switch gyms, he had to move out of his house. He had to move from the church as much as he fought it because everywhere he went, there were protesters and they wouldn't stop for over a year. So they ended up like, this is never going to go away. Had officer privacy been around for that, they would have been golden, and they could have done something a little bit different. Maybe had a little bit better of a peace of mind. People wouldn't have been able to find their houses. So head over to officerprivacy.com/Wolfpack. It's not a promo code. It is a URL. All right, let's jump into today's show, shall we? Are you ready?
Which one do you want to start with?
Let's start with Haiti. Haiti's going to hell. Haiti's descending to hell. Well, that's what the news would like to say. After I've done some further research on this, because we're real journalists out there, folks. We're real journalists out here. The news is lying to you on this one, I think. Josh, you might have even been fooled by it a little bit. You may have been fooled about it. But then when you and I started actually researching it, we were like, hold on, wait a minute here. What you guys are reporting is crazy. But being that we are real journalists, we were able to do some real journalism. Now, nobody has put this out but us. We're the first. I have not heard this on any other news network. Did you hear that? No other news network say, because we're not propaganda news media, guys. We're just two fucking dumb C-student cops who are finding real news, who are pretending to be real journalists. Not conspiracy theorists, not wackadoodles, but we're not propagandists either. This is what I mean by propaganda. Listen, you guys are going to be proud of me on this one. You guys are going to be real proud of me. Haiti. How big do you think Haiti is, really quick? Josh, this is unscripted. You don't know. But how big do you think it would be? How many miles do you think? Square miles?
Small, like the size of Vermont. Something very, very small.
How fucking big is Vermont? I don't even know how big Vermont is.
I don't know. Maybe
what do you think's
miles,
bigger, Haiti or Chicago?
I think Haiti would be bigger than Chicago.
Much bigger.
Yep.
Haiti is sitting around 10,714 square miles.
That's a few.
It's a lot. Chicago is 231.7. miles.
That's a few more.
No, it's less.
Or I'm sorry, a few less.
Way
My math
less. That's like
is way bad then.
that's over 9,000 left, if I'm not mistaken. No, that's 9,200 miles, 300 miles, something like that, with my C student math, somewhere around there. 8,000, just to play it safe. 8,000 miles less. Now, in this report from CNN, all about Haiti. Now, this has to do with this all has to do with Haitian immigrants getting deported, deportation law. So here's what the article on CNN says. And we were going to cover this article, and here's the research that we found, which I think is going to blow you guys away. I think you guys are going to be generally like impressed by this. The U.S., this is the headline from CNN. The U.S. keeps deporting people to a country that it says is too dangerous for even travel. Whoa, pretty salacious headlines. Now, listen, the whole point of this show is we take the sensational headlines, be it from Fox or CNN, and then we look at the totality of it and tell you the truth. Because there's when propaganda, when the machine is rolling, then everything, there's an agenda behind everything. There's a reason why they're putting this stuff out. So we were like, my first thought was, okay, so what's going on in Haiti that we need to know about? Let's start looking at it. And I found this by accident. The Biden administration has taken mixed positions on its policies involving Haiti, with one federal agency warning that the Caribbean country is too dangerous for U.S. citizens, while another agency deports Haitians back to the violence-torn country. Violence in Haiti during the second quarter jumped 14% compared to the previous quarter. Now, remember, what was it, like a year ago, the Haitian president, or the guy in charge, do they call it a president in Haiti?
I think they labeled him as a president about almost 2 years ago.
He was assassinated.
Yeah,
almost 2 years ago, assassinated. On August 30th, the U.S. Embassy in Haiti urged American citizens to leave the country due to the current security situation. And there were some people, there were some missionaries, correct, that were kidnapped.
There's a bunch of people that got kidnapped.
Bunch of people. Right? But now I look at the statistics here. Waves of crime and unrest have hit Haiti since the assassination of the former president, Jovenel Moise, in 2021. His successor, Prime Minister Ariel Henry, has struggled to staunch the violence. More than 1,860 victims of killings, injuries, and kidnappings were documented between April 24th and June 30th. 1,860, group that into violent crime, is what they're saying here. Violent crime. All right? Killings, injuries, and kidnappings. How are we linking injuries into this stat of 1,860? So I got to wondering, that's a weird stat to link killings and injuries. Are these killings and injuries due to violent crime? Are these like motorcycle injuries, tripping and falling injuries? Very odd way of reporting journalism. So that led me to go, well, shit, how many people, violent people, how many violent crimes are there in Chicago in any given 3 months? Because this is April 24th to June 30th. All right. So I was like, so what does a picture of Chicago look like? Remember, Chicago is only 231 miles. Haiti is 10,000 square miles. So if they have 1,860 documented violent crimes, let's just say it's violent crimes, even though it's questionable because they just wrote injuries. They didn't write violent crime. But let's just go with violent crime to be objective here. If it's just violent crime over the span of 10,000 square miles, they had 1,860 just in the last 30 days. In the last 30 days in Chicago, 771 violent crimes in a 231 mile. So is Chicago more dangerous than all of Haiti? But we're complaining about not deporting people back to Haiti?
When we started looking into this a little bit further, there's a website that tracks violent crime or mass shootings. And in my searching, I found that one weekend there were over 40 shootings in July, and then there was 50 some shootings and another weekend. This is just a single weekend in a single city. And we were doing our research to find out where the violent crimes were and statistics so we can compare and contrast. Chicago just doesn't list this stuff. They don't group this stuff together. They
Well,
don't.
I found it. Here's where I found my stats on the Chicago thing, because yeah, you're right. It was very difficult. Let's see if I can get back to it. It's CompStat Chicago Police Department. So go to home.chicagopolice.org and go to their CompStats. And this is from week 36, 2023. They had 16 murders, 64 sexual assaults, 333 robberies, 171 aggravated batteries, 187 burglaries. And that's where I came up with my number of 771, because those are the only things that are, can be considered violent. Now, they had 725 thefts, and they had 1,637 motor vehicle thefts.
So you have
Just
almost,
in week 36, covering 28 August to September 3rd. Wow, that's not even
a week.
30 days. That's a week, dude.
That's 7 days.
What? Maybe
They've
I'm
had-
misreading this. Hold on.
They've
Am I
had as
misreading
many.
this?
No, because Chicago wants to sue automakers for making it too easy to steal their cars.
Okay,
That's-
maybe I am reading about this. Historical.
But when we were
comparisons.
searching, these mass shootings that happens on the weekend in Chicago, they get left off of these reports. They get left off of the media. They get left off of these mass casualty events. They're left off of all these reports. But there's 40 or 50 people shot. Some of them grouped together in a single incident. It's a party that turns violent or whatever. They leave this stuff off of these reports. So once you start looking at like further back, peeling the layers back, like we're talking about, what's the propaganda here? Why are you pushing numbers? Why are you adding, like Eric was saying, the injuries? What is injuries?
Right. Listen, I'm
is
not
it
afraid to
trip-
say that I'm wrong here, but the stats that I read were from the week in 2023. Well, yeah, it says 2023. I don't know. That can't be to date. That can't. Maybe I've got to be reading this wrong. That is so much. It's in Somalia, right? Let's see if we can find. Keep talking. I'm going to see. Let me see if I can get a better number here. I just want to make sure I'm right. Doesn't that seem like a crazy number?
It does until you start thinking about what they don't report on. Like, they're going to sue automakers. They're wanting to sue Kia, and they want to sue Hyundai because they make the cars too easy to steal. Well, how about instead of going after the automakers, we go after the people that are stealing the cars and putting them in prison or jail or something? Because if you're in jail, you can't steal a car.
Wow.
Just gonna put that out there.
I was right though. 14. Like, this is just. I just typed in how many murders in Chicago, because I'm thinking that CompStat, which is from police.org, chicagopolice.org. I thought I could be wrong. I'm not. Listen to this. On August 21st, a 14-year-old among 7 killed and 33 wounded in a Chicago weekend gun violence. Here's one from the 27th. Chicago weekend shootings. 1 dead, an 8-year-old among 22 hurt. Bro, Chicago is like worse than Somalia. Well, it's definitely worse than Haiti.
I remember years
What?
ago that
Why isn't this being reported? Chicago's murder count makes national headlines, but accurately talking about, listen, this is another headline, talking about crime data requires nuance? It requires nuance, but when you're talking about deporting people back to Haiti because Haiti's too dangerous to deport people back to, there's no nuance in that. You're talking about 1,800 violent crimes that you can't even verify are violent crimes because you just said the word injury, which definitely leads me to believe that that's mainstream media trying to fluff shit up. So they're like, oh, God, there really wasn't that much going on. Let's throw injuries in on this, too, to make it sound more salacious. But even if it was violent crime, you're still talking about 1,800 violent crimes within an area of 10,000 square miles, yet you have 700 and something violent crimes that happen in 1 week in Chicago, which is only 231 miles.
So we're going to deport people from Chicago to Haiti because it's safer in Haiti is what it sounds like.
Chris Dryer in the chat says there's a website called Hey Jackass that tracks all the crime in Chicago. I'm not sure if I'm trusting a site called Hey Jackass, but I think it's worth looking into. I mean, I've seen crazier shit out there. Deadleg, you can do some research on that. Maybe we add that to our favorites if it's good. Michael Hendricks says that's wackadoodle. It is wackadoodle. What's another word for it? They've taken away all the other words. I can't use. I'm very limited on the words I can use without getting kicked off of YouTube. You can only say like idiot like 3 or 4 times before you get harassed, bullying charges, misdemeanor bullying via YouTube. Let's go to something more fun and funky. Yeah, go ahead. Year to date, what's up?
Year to date,
that's a
400
professional looking site, and that's called Jackass. What's it
Hey
called?
Jackass. It's called Hey Jackass.
Jackass.com. Look at those charts. It looks like a weather map.
Oh, they can tell you where you need to go or avoid.
You know what? So I did a story on Chicago back in our Lori Lightfoot days, her making us soft. And I, from a very, very nice human being, looked like a nice human, like a very nice. Listen, when you guys argue with me or something, the first thing I do is look at your profile picture. If your profiles, I mean, not your profile picture, but all your pictures and your Instagrams, if it's you like smoking weed and like, you haven't cleaned your lens off your camera in the last 6 months that you've owned the camera and you can't even see the picture because you got 1,000 thumbprints over your thing. I don't listen to your opinion at all because you're an ignoramus, obviously. But like, if you look like you're well to do, you're put together, you look the part, then I'll pay mine to your complaints or to your arguments. I have no problem with that. I'm just not going to argue with idiots or people who appear to be idiots. I could be wrong. Don't judge a book by its cover, but I don't have time to sit there and read everybody's books. So I go based on what your profile looks like on Instagram. And this was a pretty well put together woman. And she just was like, I'm really upset with your podcast and how you paint the picture of Chicago. That's not really how Chicago is. That's only South Side Chicago, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, well, okay, so like, do you just then change the name of South Side Chicago? Just because you don't like it and it paints a bad picture, the stats are still real. That's still Chicago. It's still called Chicago. It's still Chicago's problem. It's still Chicago mayor's problem. I just thought it was a funny argument. Go ahead. What are you reading here?
You can be not happy about what we're reporting on, then vote the people out that let this stuff happen. That's what you need to do. Don't get pissed off with two dudes on a podcast.
Yeah, but I don't think Chicago's voted anything different from Democrats ever.
They haven't. So don't get upset when two dudes on some podcast read numbers that are statistics. These are actual numbers of crimes that are happening in the city that you live in. If you're unhappy that your city has had 1,744 people shot or wounded this year, total this year, 2,153 shot and 452 people murdered in your city. If you don't like that, either vote those people out or leave. That's my advice. Because we're going to go on to another story here in a little bit, but to not just beat Chicago, we'll put California in here. California is trying to make it easier for shoplifters to shoplift because they're trying to put laws in effect to punish people for stopping shoplifters.
Yeah, this is wild. This is actually this was wild when we saw this. What is the crime here? Like, what is it? Like a simple assault or something?
No, they're saying that they're framing it as workplace violence, that the employees or employers have to have policies in place with workplace violence with regards to shoplifting and that. But what they bury in here is if you're caught and you're charged with this, they could fine you $18,000 for stopping someone from shoplifting from your business.
Could you imagine me like 30 years from now being that old geezer at the front of Walmart and some knucklehead kid, like 17, 18-year-old kid tries to run past me, like shoves me or something? I go Clint Eastwood on him and just beat the brakes off of him.
Gran Torino, get off my grass. The more and more every day I get closer and closer to feeling like I just need to sit on my front porch and tell people to get off my grass.
No, that movie made me want to smoke cigarettes. That's but yeah, this is the thing. It's like we're defunding the police so that we can federalize the police department. You can go back to any of my episodes and listen to me. Let's jump on to something more fun here. Kanye blowy in Venice. Have you guys seen this article? Listen, this is what people are talking about. All right, so don't be a cop that shuts this out right now. This is what the world is talking about. This is what your daughters. Oh, I hope not. But this is what no shit though. This if you had a teenage daughter that checks out Cosmopolitan magazine, yeah, right? Is that still a thing? Cosmopolitan magazine, ladies in the chats, hit me up. A Cosmopolitan, that used to be the big to do for all the girls back in my day. TMZ. Now I pulled this article from TMZ, but they're reporting based off of what Cosmopolitan had to say. But Kanye West and Bianca Censori, they can't seem to stay out of trouble in Italy. The couple were reportedly barred from using a Venice boat rental. Now, it's those little, the boats that you saw in 007, those little tiny wooden boats that hold about 2 people that you can rent. They go real slow, but it's really cute, really romantic. One of those tiny little boats. The couple was reportedly barred from using them after this indecent exposure act. So what you have is the band stems from an incident last Monday when the rapper and his model wife were riding in a water taxi through the historic island city. He's getting a blowy, just a straight up beach, and other people are watching. One photo caught Bianca kneeling in front of Kanye, who was seated on a bench with his hands gripping the back of her head. Another snap showed Kanye's pants pulled down from behind, revealing his butt crack. Yeah, I mean, these are great photos. The water taxi company, Vinzia Turismo Motoscafi, was totally in the dark until the images surfaced in the media. Now a rep from the company has issued a statement saying Yi and Bianca are no longer welcome on its vessels. Dude, why? Because he yeeted on them? What's the problem? Like, how many people have gotten a beach on one of those boats? It's got to be in the tens of thousands. Wouldn't even, if I was on one of those boats, it would be all I'd be thinking about. I'd be like, yo, there's not a waterfall in North Carolina that I haven't gotten a beach under. The spokesman or had sex under. The spokesperson insisted the driver didn't see these obscenities because he was too busy operating the boat. Listen, if I'm driving a boat and Kanye's like, don't look back here, I'm getting a blowy. I mean, I would look back there, but I would also never say a word about it. You know, but I'm not going to tell Kanye, I'm not going to tell Yi that he can't get a blowy in the back of my... If Kanye came into my distillery and was like, shut this shit down, I want to get a blowy over here, I'd be like, I would shut it down. It's Kanye. Gets to do what he wants, baby. The rep claimed that a third person who was with Yi and Bianca blocked the driver's view of the couple. So he had somebody running interference for him. In recent weeks, Yi and Bianca have been making waves all across Italy. Bianca has especially been on the Italian radar over her tight-fitting see-through bodysuits. Oh, why? Why don't do that in public? I don't like it when other children can see your hoo-haws. You know what I mean? Like keep that for night. Keep that for after hours. These pictures are her in the middle of the day where you can see everything, dude. You can see her nipples and everything. Some locals have even called for Bianca and Yi to be arrested or booted from the... Yeah, I don't understand. Any normal person would be arrested for this kind of behavior. I've said that before. I've hung out with many celebrities in bars and see how they treat servers, sexually harass them, how they grab women by the waist to get pictures by them, staring at their breasts, and all these things. Like, I've seen some really bad behavior out of celebrities, and everybody in their entourage tolerates it. Remember, I said that on an episode that I was no longer going to tolerate. I think that's why I've stopped being invited to a lot of things then, and I just don't have time. But I won't tolerate that. If I see you, I don't care if you're Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. If you're doing something fucked up in front of me, I'm going to call you out on it. And I don't even care if I'm a nobody. Because I've always felt bad that I was in the presence of people that were treating, and the only reason I could get away with it was because they were celebrity status. I don't agree with that. And listen, I love Kanye West. I love his music. Huge fan. The Graduation album. Love it. One of my favorites of all time. But I'm not down with I'm down with the beach on the boat only because I think that they attempted to hide that. They weren't trying to publicly get a beach. I mean, I'm right? Am I wrong there? Did they not?
It looks like they were kind of hiding a little bit. But
yeah. Maybe
I don't know whether
that maybe a couple of Prosecco's, a couple glasses of Prosecco's in. They think that, hey, I got somebody running interference on the guy. Nobody's going to see this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can see how that happens. I can't understand this bodysuit in the middle of the day walking through the streets of Rome and Italy and Venice, whatever, wearing this bodysuit. Pretty highly inappropriate. Highly inappropriate.
Well, here's the other thing. I'd throw this out there, too. You're Kanye. Just rent out the whatever it is for the day. Get the distillery to close down. Have the taxis, just get one and have a private thing. And because that happens all the time where you'll just close down an event there's a private event. That's all it'll be. This whole thing's closed for the day. So, yeah.
Bosco says it's on a public boat. Yeah, but no, they rented it. They rented the boat. So public-ish, private-ish. You know how many people get blowies in the back of taxi cabs? Happens all the time.
HBO made a show out of it.
I mean, I've not gotten a blowy in a taxi, but I've gotten a handy, a little over the pants handy in a taxi.
I'm trying to think of it.
So,
Anytime
I mean,
rode a
listen,
taxi,
I have had sex almost everywhere, or some kind of sexual behavior all over the place. Like my wife and I, we got kicked out of Tribeca Tavern for making out on top of a table. Like I laid her on the table and was making out with her, spilling beers and food all over the place. I mean, we were in our 20s. And there's still a picture floating around of that, of me having her like over the table, like making out. We were kicked out of the thing. We were there with a bunch of other cops. It was a wedding party. It was an after party after a wedding. So listen, I'm not judging. I'm not king shaming, but you know, again, we were in an adult bar, right? And
doing
it was
adult
late.
things.
Doing adult things. There wasn't kids around watching. And I'm not proud of that anyway. I wouldn't do it now. I'm more professional of a human being. But I think Kanye and them know better. Come on, dude. Like, that's the only thing I have a problem with is her boobies. Is like you being able to see her nipples and her boobs and her areolas and everything. I don't want my kids to see that kind of shit. You know, that's not fair to the kids. You know, especially like the 13-year-old boys who are trying to control themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't think that dude's like you? 13-year-old Eric sees Bianca or whatever her name is. I see her walking down the street with those boobs. I'm hitting the next fucking porta john.
Well, I'm doing this first, and then I'm hitting the porta john.
Sure, yeah, both, yeah, all the above. All right, listen,
Life hacks.
listen, dude, it's crazy. Here's something else nobody wants to talk about, and you guys don't want to know about it. Basically, one of the Jonas brothers, Joe Jonas, American singer, songwriter, actor. He got married and now they're getting divorced. Nobody gives a shit. But I mean, it's top news, so I have to bring it up. But here's some good news that you guys might be interested in. Elon is suing the I can't even say this with a straight face. Elon to sue the Anti-Defamation League for defamation. How does this work? This is another CNN article. Now listen, why are they going after Elon so much right now? I don't know. That's something
I can tell you why.
Why?
I know why.
Go ahead.
Elon is not listening to the FBI. Elon's not listening to the DOJ. Elon's not listening to the CIA. Elon has purged all those people from his company. Elon has spent the last several months taking all of what's been going on and he's been releasing it to the public. Elon is no different than TikTok. And you want to know the difference between Elon and the reason why they don't like TikTok is because they have no control over it. Right. They can't censor it. They can't censor. I got censored on Instagram last night for saying that I'd buy a T-shirt saying "I want my mommy," and Instagram took it down for hate speech.
I want my mommy.
They said it was, "I want my mommy."
What's hate speech about? I want my mommy.
I don't know.
What was
I
it in
reposted
reference
it.
to?
There was a police officer's body cam video, and the suspect kept crying for their mommy, and the police officer said, "You need to quit crying for your mommy." And I said, I would buy a shirt with that quote.
I used to always say that because everybody that you arrest in the hood is like, yo, call my mama. I want my mama. I'm like, bro, you're like 40 years old. Shut the fuck up about your mother. She's not coming here, dude. Ugh.
She's not going to be able to help you out.
Gosh, dude. I didn't know that was hate speech, though. I want my mommy. That would be a good shirt, though. I want my mommy. All right, yeah. So ex-owner Elon Musk is threatening to sue the Anti-Defamation League for defamation, claiming that the nonprofit organization's statements about rising hate speech on the social media platform have torpedoed X. It's like there's as much hate speech on there as there is violent crime in Haiti versus Chicago. Okay. In a post on X, formerly known as Twitter, I hate saying that, Musk said U.S. advertising revenue is still down 60%, primarily due to pressure on advertisers by the ADL, which blah, blah, blah. So they almost succeeded killing. You know, like we're victim to that too, though. Like the whole advertising thing is not just because of the statistics on Twitter. Those advertisers are pulling out because they have a political agenda to pull out. We had advertisers that wanted to pull out just because of what happened in Uvalde, and they didn't want to advertise on a pro law enforcement show for a time being, which is a little fucked up. So these ad agencies, if they have a political motivation, they're not objective in any way, shape, or form, they can, kind of pull the plug on you, and because they don't agree with the kind of rhetoric that you're putting out. So I don't know that these advertisers are pulling out because of the bullying on them. They're doing it because they're part of the political power. The six companies that own media, right? They're the ones that are paying all the bills to the advertisers. So those 6 companies want a certain style of advertising, and they're not going to go with those advertisers. They're going to listen. We lost a whole advertising firm because I refused to do Pfizer ads, and they were like, "Sorry." And there's so many ad agencies that have Pfizer and Moderna. And they were like, "Oh, well, if you come with our package, one of the first ads you're going to get is Moderna or Pfizer." I don't do Moderna or Pfizer ads, period. I'm not going to do that. If you guys want to know why we're a podcast company, remember when we were doing the baked in ad reads where they were baked in and then we heard you guys' complaint? We took a step back and we now do dynamic ad reads where I read them and make them up as I go on. And I only do ads for people that I can get along with, like officerprivacy.com/Wolfpack. And I'm very transparent to them on how I'm going to do the ad reads. I'm not going to bore my consumers with ad reads to have them leave this podcast network. Now, fact of the matter is there has to be ads. That just has to happen. Find a great podcast that doesn't have ads. It doesn't exist. You have to have them. Unless maybe you're Joe Rogan. But he's making money from his RSS feed, basically, or from his podcast platform. We don't have that we're not that popular. So, ads, we have to have ads. But we deliver ads in a way that nobody else does, and we do it friendly to our consumers. And hopefully you guys are paying enough attention to those ad reads and you're actually using those products. When it comes Christmas times, listen, like every cop needs, if you're a mother-in-law, if you're a grandfather, and your son, he's a cop, and so his children are your grandchildren, stuff like that. No better gift than to get them a subscription to Officer Privacy because it's protecting them. It's like getting a life insurance policy. My father-in-law, for my wedding gift, gave me a life insurance policy, and it's been the best thing. I've had it for 13 years, and it gives me. I have 5 kids, and what a peace of mind knowing that I have that extra life insurance policy, so I know that my kids are going to be taken care of, because that's real shit, man. That is real shit. So super excited to have guys like Factor Meals. Factor Meals just came on with us for the rest of the year. Who doesn't want meal planning? So, you see how I'm doing my ad reads right now? Trying to entertain you by doing them. FactorMeals.com. Promo code Wolfpack50. Wolfpack50. Factor Meals. Meal planning to the next level. All right. Let's continue here. Let's see. What do we got next up here? You want to go back to this Elon Musk thing?
Yep.
You want to go back to it?
Yeah, we can go back. Because the other thing is the gist of it is he's alleging that the ADL is pressuring the ad groups to pull ads off of Twitter because of what they are claiming is an increased hate speech and all this hate rhetoric and things on Twitter. Well, Twitter and X and Elon Musk is saying, hey, if you're going to claim that stuff, you need to back it up with some evidence, buddy. You can't just arbitrarily say this platform is riddled with this stuff and you shouldn't advertise on it. You got to have something to back up with, because Elon's going to come out with, hey, here's the new Twitter files of all the hate speech that we took down. Not only that, speaking of, just not to get off on a weird tangent, Twitter took down the amount of child porn and child trafficking that they were involved with, and that stopped after Elon took charge of the company, tells you everything about where that company was before he got there.
Yeah.
So when you think about ads and you want to run ads on a company and a platform that wants to peddle kids and child porn, that's what you want to run ad on. But you don't want to run ads on a company that will advertise and stands on free speech, is what he's claiming to. Yeah, that's a mess. I hope he does, because the other thing that you get is discovery.
Yeah.
Because usually when these lawsuits come out, you get to a point where they get this big chest puffing out that we're going to go to this, and then it gets right about the point of discovery, and everyone starts to go, okay, we want to settle.
Right.
Because
it'll be
no one wants to open your doors up to everybody else because everything is on. It doesn't matter whether it was directly related to or not. Every bit of your books is all your emails, all your anything. So if they're looking through your emails and they say, hey, here's these people doing this as well, that's additional stuff that becomes discovered during discovery. So no one wants to be discovered.
No, yeah, nobody wants that. Nobody wants that hate coming out there. But you know what we do want you coming? We want you coming up here November 11th and 12th. We've got a big event happening in Albemarle, North Carolina. Vinny Montez is going to be in town. Many other police celebrities, I guess you would say, police influencers are also going to be in town for that. There's a stand-up comedy show in Raleigh. Myself and Jay Durrell are opening up for Vinny Montez. That's really, really exciting. Vinny Montez is absolutely hilarious and one of my favorite police comedians. He's the biggest, right? So, the fact that we get to open up for him, that's really funny. I'm really excited to do that. So join us here in November 11th. No, 11th and 12th. That's Veterans Day weekend for a big to-do in Albemarle. And we'll post more about that on all of our social medias, and you'll be hearing us push that. So put on your calendars then. And then also, August 2024. If anybody's interested in doing a podcast cruise, trying to get together several different influencers and several different podcasters for a margarita 4-day margarita cruise. And we'll be doing Q&As every night on the boat. We'll be doing performances every day on the boat. But we're locking in some pretty big podcast guys that are interested so far. I just don't know how many fans are interested. But if you guys are interested on Failure to Stop's behalf on joining us on a cruise in August, please send us a DM. Let us know what you think about that. That's going to be really, really fun. Yeah, rest in peace, Jimmy Buffett. Kendra J. Rama says, yeah, but you know what? Rest in peace. I'll go with that. I'll go with rest in peace. Jimmy Buffett hurt my feelings, with that whole, can't come to my show if you're not vaxxed and shit. That was really sad. But, yes, Jimmy Buffett, I love him. Still going to listen to his music, still love his music. It hurt my feelings to know that was his take, but everybody gets to have a take, everybody gets to have a take in life. So, rest in peace, Jimmy Buffett, for sure, for sure. Is Kanye coming on the boat? Coming on the boat. Listen, dude, if you think I'm not going on a cruise and getting a beach on the cruise, you're fucking dead wrong, dude. There's no way I'm going 4 days on a cruise without getting a beach. Hopefully my wife is there. I'm kidding. I would never get one from somebody that's not my wife. By the way, dude, some people are really offended by my jokes. Maybe they don't take the time. There's a church group that's been commenting on our YouTubes a lot, saying that we're going to hell and whatnot. I think it's funny. I think it's silly because, listen, I've never cheated on my wife. Never will cheat on my wife. I've done some kinky shit with my wife, right? We're no saints in the bedroom. But definitely I would never cheat on her or my family or anything like that. So those are all just jokes. Everybody relax. Okay, here we go. Let's dive back into some more news, dude. There's some really good ones. There's some bangers coming up. We've got Biden building a border wall despite saying that he wasn't going to. What did he say? He wasn't going to build one more inch of this fucking wall,
well,
and here we go?
I'm not building one more inch Trump's wall.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
he's been building the wall.
He's been building the wall. Homeland Security said Friday it will build 20 more miles of border wall, carrying out some of the former President Donald Trump's marquee campaign promises. The department suggested it had no choice but to begin construction thanks to the terms of the 2019 spending bill, which allocated money specifically for wall building at the border. Some $190 million remains unspent, and President Biden risked running afoul of the law if he didn't take steps to spend it on the wall by September. Until and unless Congress cancels these funds, the law requires DHS to use the funds consistent with their appropriated purchase. Listen, this guy's not doing much of anything right now. He's not being very proactive. There's already talks. Our big headline story of today is that Kamala Harris says in a report this week that she's ready to be president. Do we have that article really fast? Let's jump over to that.
I don't have it pulled up right.
It's okay. I have it pulled up all the time.
Okay.
No, you're right. I don't have it pulled up because I have what you have. So, I mean, you bring up the article as you say it, but I can speak from the heart on this. They're talking about Biden's age right now. And all of a sudden, the media is all about Trump's age too. So why are we so concerned? I listened to an article even this morning that was talking about Trump's age. Why are we talking about Trump's age? He's not the president right now. What we need to be talking about is Biden's age, because he just gave somebody the Medal of Honor this week and then like unceremoniously
just walks
off the stage. Like it wasn't planned. That wasn't part. He was supposed to do more up on the stage, but like a zombie, like a Mitch McConnell moment, like a Dianne Feinstein moment, just blanks out and walks off the stage. And now we're hearing all this week on the news, we've been hearing about age discrimination and whatnot. We had Joe Arpaio on the show. I'm a big fan of the guy. Do I think Joe Arpaio is wise? Sure. He's got some wisdom. My grandfather-in-law, tons of wisdom. Do I think that Joe Biden might have some wisdom? Sure, maybe. But these guys can't run the country. I did a podcast with Joe Arpaio, and listen, behind the scenes, his whole staff had to do everything for him. Like, I can't do it. He might have a lot of wisdom, but dude, like, at the end of the day, I need somebody who knows how to build a fucking house. I need somebody that's ready to go. I love Joe Arpaio, man. But I honestly, if you want my honest opinion, which does not reflect the entire Failure to Stop network at all whatsoever. This is just Eric Tansey speaking to you right now. I would say Joe Arpaio is too old to be doing things just because of what I saw on the thing. I don't know if that's ageism, but like what I saw on the podcast was like, yo, man, like you need to retire and enjoy the rest of your life and support somebody with your wisdom. Be a support chain for them. You know what I'm saying? That would be like Drew Breezy doing everything on this channel. He's too old, but we use his wisdom. We use all of his wisdom, but he's too old to do all. I'm just kidding. Drew's in his prime right now. But listen, I don't know why we're talking about Donald Trump's age, but all of a sudden, now you got Kamala Harris giving a statement to the press that she's admitting that Joe Biden's getting old. And this is scary because I think everybody kind of called this. Everybody, all the conspiracy theorists have been saying from the beginning that she was going to be running the show, which is very weird. Because she's not running the show. She has no public opinion. Like, everybody hates her. Nobody likes her. She's like, she has the worst public opinion, the first public rating of any vice president of all time. Am I right on saying that?
I'd go ahead and say that everybody on this administration is the worst public rating of all time.
But like, her approval rating is super low, is it not?
Yes.
Can you fact check me on that? Bring up this article with Kamala. By the way, Kamala's voice is.
She laughs at everything. Everything's a laugh. Hey, these people in Maui burned down alive. I just can't stand her laugh.
You know, but why are we being proactive if we think that this guy's not going to make it through the presidency? Why aren't we trying to be a little bit more proactive, a little bit more transparent? Now, this is coming from Fox News. I did 2 articles from CNN. Harris says she's ready to step into the role of president if Biden is unwell. She may have to take over. Vice President Kamala Harris said during an interview Wednesday that she was ready to fulfill her constitutional duty to assume the presidency should President Biden be unable to govern, as questions swirl around his health. They can't hide it anymore. The dumb shit that he says in Hawaii, the walking off of the stage here, they can't hide this guy's shit. I mean, have you seen all the videos of what he's saying? Don't tell your mommy. Don't tell your mommy. Don't tell your mommy. You smell good. Have you seen those videos?
And then
very bizarre.
The Medal of Honor. That, I mean, imagine you're the gentleman that did all of the things that he did to earn the Medal of Honor, and to have that finally go through the Congress and everything, get to that point, and the president does this and just walks off.
But here she leaves us with a promise. She says Joe Biden is going to be fine, so that is not going to come to fruition, Harris told the Associated Press in Jakarta, Indonesia, where she was attending a regional summit. Keep her over in Jakarta. But let us also understand that every vice president understands that when they take the oath, they must be very clear about the responsibility they may have to take over the job. So, I mean, when you put it in context, you know, I just don't remember a lot of vice presidents having to talk about this in the past decade. A recent AP NORC poll showed that 77% of Americans and 69% of Democrats think Biden is too old for a second term. That's a massive number, dude. We're talking 20% of the people believe that this dude can do a second term.
That's it. You're talking, and even that, you're the people that are voting in that 20%. I'd say that's statistically just outliers. You can go ahead and say the overwhelming majority believe that he's too old.
She says, I see him every day. No, you don't. You don't see Joe Biden every day. Well, unless she's referring to like Zoom meetings and whatnot, maybe, but I doubt it. That dude was on vacation a lot. She's not seeing him on vacation. She's in Jakarta, Indonesia right now. Is Biden with her?
I didn't see her on the beach on his most recent vacation or when he was
She
in
might
Lake
be there
Tahoe.
with him, actually. A substantial amount of time we spend together is in the Oval Office, where I see how his ability to understand issues and weave through their complex issues in a way that no one else can. Listen, I saw my grandfather-in-law freak the fuck out because he couldn't work the TV. Is he a wise man? Yes. Would I go to him with a lot of my problems and trust that he has the wisdom and the knowledge? Yes. But I think that being a president is a little bit more than just wisdom and knowledge. You got to know how to work the TVs. You got to be able to work up with technology. Would I want my grandfather to be a president? Absolutely not. Would I want him to be like the right-hand man to a president? Sure. Vice president? Sure. Would I be able to tolerate Biden as a vice president? I think so. There's nothing wrong with having somebody that's really old, Joe Arpaio, as a vice mayor or something like. There's nothing wrong with having a lot of wisdom around you. But to be a president, you got to have the wisdom and be able to walk up the steps of a military style airplane and not fall on your face every time. I don't
Not
know.
only that, she says she meets with him all the time in the Oval Office. Well, that's bullshit. I'm going to call just fact check that one. Bullshit. That's false because he's always on vacation. So how are you in the Oval Office with him all the time when he's on the beach or he's at Lake Tahoe or he's not there?
Wow. Harris ran for president in 2020, but quickly burned out following the Democrat primary debates. She only dropped out from the election. Yeah, because she had she was at 2%, something like that.
She dropped out.
And received fewer pledged delegates than fellow candidates Michael Bloomberg, Pete Buttigieg, Amy Klobuchar, or Tulsi Gabbard. But she's the vice president, folks. Fucking, it's a joke. It's because they're being ruled. They're being puppeteered by rich ruling elites. Speaking of which, head over to right now, type in on your podcast app. If you would, go to Apple Podcast or Spotify, type in Night Shift Top Secret Information, or just put Anthony Raimondi's name in there, Raimondi, and pull up our Night Shift thing. We're trying to get it up on the algorithms. It's growing rapidly. It's doing well. Last week couldn't find that at all. This week you can actually start to find it. To get on the charts, it's a weekly thing. We need every single person counts on that 5-star, that rating and the review, and give it a listen and hit the automatic download button. And if you haven't done that with all the shows, that's what helps keep the lights on, and it's keeping first responders informed and entertained. Now, 7 days a week? Pretty much?
Yeah,
I think we have something going out 7 days a week. We don't have anything going out on Sundays.
Between that and Patreon,
Yes, we
there's something
do.
going out
We do have
almost
stuff
every
coming
day.
out on Sunday. Yeah, because we have Night Shift Top Secret Information is on the
Comes out on
Failure Stop
Sunday.
YouTube channel on Sunday. Now,
Yep.
if Night Shift TSI is not on the Failure to Stop podcast channel. It's its own podcast. It's just a Failure to Stop special. So you have to
Yep.
physically go to Night Shift Top Secret Information. Night Shift what? Top Secret Information, and that's with Anthony Raimondi and myself. And that is a full-blown conspiracy theory show. And it's all the rage right now. It's doing very, 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 very well. And it's cool. It's much different though, because it's not law enforcement related. We didn't want to put it on the Failure to Stop podcast channel, but it is owned by Failure to Stop, if that makes sense. Anthony Raimondi being the big giant host there, hundreds of thousands of followers on Instagrams, Twitters, Facebooks. He's a big deal. It's Conservative Ant is where you can find him. Right now he's actually in his pickup truck delivering stuff to hurricane victims as we speak. So he's a political commentator. He's very, very, very good. So Hydro Man Blue, check him out. Night Shift TSI, Top Secret Information, the real OG. Don't be fooled by those who try to be us, right? Like, you know, there are people who are trying to copycat us at the moment, taking the name, using the break background, the blue lights, trying to do all the same things that we did. Don't be fooled by it, guys. Don't be fooled by it. The real deal is right here on the Failure to Stop podcast channel, and we've got just an amazing team of people all working really, really hard for one common goal, and that is to hit first responders and to keep them informed and entertained. And there are no other goals. We're not out here nickel and diming folks. We're not trying to beat you over the handlebars with merch and things. You know why we don't do a lot of merch? I would rather you support our sponsors who pay our paychecks than you buy shirts to just support us. It's so important right now, especially in election season, to be supporting people who are promoting shows like this one and others like it, because it's getting very difficult to find people who want to advertise on edgy, free of speech shows. We say a lot of crazy shit on this show, and we're very transparent with advertisers, and they pull out very quickly once we're transparent with them. So the ones that stick around, GhostBed, officerprivacy.com/Wolfpack, they believe in the bigger picture. They might not agree with everything that we say, but they agree with the bigger picture of freedom of speech, with inform and entertain, with having healthy debates, and they're all against the basically silencing and not allowing anybody to be journalists, like what's going on in Maui right now. I mean, there's a lot of talk in Maui, and they're not allowing journalists to go over there. They're not allowing independent journalists to do independent. There's a media blackout right now, and they're saying it's because of the bodies. Well, if there's only 300 bodies, I mean, there wasn't a media blackout for the World Trade Center. We were seeing tons of independent media journalism coming out of them, out of that. Katrina as well. I mean, I was on the ground with some of these incidents, not 9/11, but the hurricane was the big one that was just before Katrina that slammed in Pensacola. There was no fucking media blackout there. That one killed a lot of people too. I don't know. This media blackout thing worries me. It scares me. But anyway, so everybody on this team, like I said, we're not trying to beat anybody over the head, trying to sell you guys stuff. This is really all about first responders. It's all about being informed and entertained, and it's about having a good time. And if you look at our staff as the way it is right now, man, everybody is working so hard and doing such a great job. And the Patreon is growing. If you want to support the show, head over to the Patreon. Because I mean, that's where we're beating you over the head. If you want to support the show, $3 to be a paid member per month. $3 to be a paid member over on Patreon get you. But there's tons of extra content. It's a gift that's going to keep on giving to you. It's extra. But we deliver 6 free daggone shows. 7. We got Anti-Hero Podcast. That's free. We got we also have Getting a Grip on Things with Elijah. That one's new too. We got that one on the network. And then of course we have
Vomit.
Yeah, Grime and Vomit's coming over to the C- Media Network. That's for kids. So there's a lot of people doing a lot of work, a lot of free content. And that's why now, what are we going to do for Christmas holidays? Because people do generally want some kind of gift to give their loved one, and they do want to support Failure to Stop. Right now, we are working on maybe some kind of a coffee mug, something easy. We don't have to worry about sizes and, all those things. Something just a one and done type deal, maybe some whiskey glasses, something like that. So there will be something coming down the pipeline in the next week or two. And then here we go with this. This is another one. If you leave a 5-star rating and review on Night Shift TSI, Top Secret Information, or if you leave a creative one on Anti-Hero Podcast, if you leave one by next week, actually we're going to do this almost probably every week until Christmas, but we will be giving out either if you have the best review and rating on Night Shift Top Secret Information for that week, we'll pick one. We're going to give you guys something personalized, whether that be a card, a bookmarker. At my book, I have a meeting with my book with the publishing house on Wednesday. So all through Christmas, we're going to start giving away some stuff, some Manscaped stuff we've got coming in that we can give out. We got lots of stuff coming in. Also officerprivacy.com/Wolfpack. They're donating some stuff to give out. So if you want to be a part of that, all you got to do is leave a 5-star rating and a review. And then for free, that is free to give a 5-star rating and review on Anti-Hero and Night Shift TSI. And if you haven't, leave it on Failure Stop. And then also, if you want to submit a first responder of the week on any of those shows, like I mentioned at the beginning of the show, we can put that out, and that is free as well. Just Rhonda in the chat says, y'all cover the case wrongful conviction that I'm most passionate about. I'm supporting you as much as I can. # justice for Daniel Holtzclaw. We got to do more with the Daniel Holtzclaw case. I'm actually, once my book comes out, Rhonda, there are some things that are being put into place even now for the book. I just had an amazing meeting with, one of my favorite people in this industry, Nick Palmisciano, owner of Ranger Up, Diesel Jack Media, been in a couple movies, comedy writer for Vet TV and things like that. One of my favorite guys in the industry. Just got to have another meeting with him yesterday in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. And we have a meeting with the publishing house on Wednesday. So there's a lot in the works going on right now. So I'm getting in front of some bigger names, some bigger people, especially with Anthony Ramonde. So I do have intentions of finding the right niche to do more on the Daniel Holtzclaw thing, because like you, I am very passionate about that case. I think that is a man who's been wrongfully convicted, and that it's a hill I'm willing to die on until he proves me wrong. But I mean, I have combed through hundreds and hundreds of hours of evidence, testimony, because I'd never want to say that I support somebody with those allegations if there's any chance that he did it. But I believe there is zero chance that he did it. And until somebody can show me, and listen, that's another one. If you can find evidence, if you can find me real good evidence, it doesn't even have to be court evidence, but like evidence that says, yeah, he probably do it, like OJ evidence where like we know he fucking did it, like Casey Anthony evidence, like there's a chance. If you can find that and articulate it to me for the Daniel Holtzclaw case, I'll take back everything I said. I want you to find it because I don't want there to be any chance I'm defending a man who did this. I haven't found that. But I'm a C student at best. See what you can do. For everybody else out there, guys, last known president, Michael Hendricks, Just Rondo, Tactic Cool Dude, Bones Cold Fleas Austin. You guys want to jump in here, Bones Cold? You want to take a stab at it? You hit me up in the DMs. We'll put you on a Wednesday. We're going to kind of turn this Wednesday show into The View. I have multiple people on here going through these things, try to do it View style, and I'm going to moderate, and we're going to have some fun with this, because this show, Last Call, is growing. And it's scary how fast that Last Call is growing, because what was supposed to be just fun, like kind of fake journalism, just kind of give it, like now people are really going to us for the news. People are fact checking everything we say. People are having real debates and discussions. So this show is becoming more important. It was always important, but now it's becoming even more important, especially with election season coming around. And so we really want to provide you guys with real information. It's not over sensationalized, it's not salacious, that has different arguments to it, not just Eric Tansey giving you his opinion all the time, because that's got to be exhausting. But guys, we want to be more involved with you going forward, so please, all those things, if you want to be involved with us, you want to be part of the Wolf Pack, nominate those first responders, get up in the chats, let us know what you're doing. We have a whole team of people answering messages. It's been great. We've had some great discussions offline. We're not those media people who are not going to respond to your Instagrams messages. You got a question, you got a case, send it. We'll acknowledge it. We'll talk to you. We might not spend hours with you, but you know, for those of you who know, you know that we respond to you guys pretty quickly on the social media webs. We do a really good job of that. Better than probably anybody else I know. Is that fair?
Almost within, you could say, 60 seconds to show like that our fan or our Wolf Pack, they got their factor meals today. Hydra Man just got here like 60 seconds ago.
Wow, he got his Factor meals in, dude. Oh, I'm going to go eat one right now, matter of fact. Factor Meals, go to factormeals.com, promo code WOLFPACK50, get you 50% off of your first 7 meals. Meal planning to the next level. Stop wasting time. You want to be an entrepreneur? Stop wasting time meal planning. If you're one of those guys that's like trying to go out for SWAT, trying to be like the best cop in the world, trying to, you know, make that DUI squad, and you're pushing paper and you've got court and all those things, dude, listen, that extra meal planning time could be time that you're spending with your family and your kids. Like any time that you can save, and the money is basically the same as grocery shopping. It's very close, very similar. When you type in gas, time, everything else, it's like the same. And that is time, that is valuable time that you could be throwing the ball with your son, kicking the soccer ball with your daughter, shooting hoops with your daughter and your son, whatever it is that you got going on, taking your wife out on a date, watching an episode of The Office with your loved one, with your date, with your partner, whatever you call it. That's all valuable time, guys. So this is meal planning that allows you to do that. At Factor Meals, promo code WOLFPACK50, get you 50% off. As for myself, Eric Tansey, and Josh from Dead Leg Media, there is some new Patreon stuff. Go over to the Patreon and check it out. We'll see you guys on next week's news. Stay informed. Stay entertained. We'll see you on the next one, guys.